Hello and welcome to the MyCom podcast. I'm Sheung Okimbaloye. Today, we'll be speaking with a Nigerian who just made history, US-based lawyer and political figure, Owolabi Salis, who has become the first Nigerian to voyage beyond Earth's atmosphere, joining Blue Origin's NS-33 mission alongside 5 other civilian astronauts. What a great feat. From a career in law and politics to a seat on a space flight, this is a big moment and is worth celebrating. And that is why he is our guest on the podcast. As reported, the 10-minute ascent and descent part of Blue Origin's new Shepherd program marked yet another chapter in the democratization of space travel. What does this mean for a Nigerian to touch the edge of the final frontier? What inspired this leap from Earth to orbit? And how does it reshape our imagination of what is possible for Africa's future in science and exploration? What example has he laid for young Nigerians? In the special edition of the MyCom podcast, we go beyond politics and power plays to draw more inspiration by putting the mic on astronaut Owolabi Salis. Thank you so much, Astronaut Owolabi Salis, for joining us on the MyCom podcast.
All right, thank you. It's good to see you, Shion.
Thank you so much. Yeah, yes. I mean, how does it feel when you are in the skies and you saw beyond the Earth's surface? You went far above. What does it feel like when you suddenly gain wings?
Yeah, you see the booster. There are 2 parts of the engine, the booster and the capsule. The capsule is on top of the booster. So the booster took us, boost the capsule up. That's what we call mass Q, the MECO. So I don't want to waste your time explaining that. So when it gets to command line, yeah, boom. That's like about the time I believe the separation happens, the separation of the booster from the capsule. So then you begin to feel, like something, a soul is leaving your body, like something is leaving your body, pulling you off the seat because we are all harnessed, to the seat. And once you remove the strap or harness yourself, then you start floating like you're a bird. It's very, very interesting. We were all floating. I would say, wow. Everybody was floating. Then you now see Mars, space, like unending darkness. Then you see the planet 3. I call it planet 3. The 3rd planet from the sun. You see the planet 3 is just, suspended. It's suspended. So I begin to wonder, this is our planet. This is where we live. It's just suspended. So if there's something that happens to it, where do we go? So, or then we have a short period to spend in space. And then I have to do my prayers. And because I went on a spiritual journey and also to encourage my African youths, to start, participating in space exploration. So now, doing my prayers, I have to do what I have to do. But what really concerns me is the body changes. The body changes, you feel like a soul is leaving your body, you start floating. And it was now fun inside, like my friend Jimmy was, flying like a bird. He stretched himself. I can't wait to see what really happened inside that capsule because it's taking, the Blue Origin has control over that. They're going to give it to us in 3 weeks or so. But some people just gave some little one that, go on the internet. But it's very, very spiritual. Something is spiritual and mysterious about this world.
Who says there is no God?
No, there's a difference between God and Almighty Lord of the universe. That's where we're going again. We see, before we get into the capsule, we had a lot of meeting, the purpose. So at the end of the day, about 3 or 4 of us, end up talking about the spirituality. Because when I started it, and people tend to join me, there's a gentleman who's a Buddha, he's a white man, but he's a Buddha, a retired military man. So we all discussed this and end up with solstice. as the name, so stays 33. Now, the question I raise is, if our planetary can be going around the sun in 365 1/4 day and staying at the same spot, that means somebody is giving an order, and that means the planetary is respecting an order. Who is the controller of that order? Who gave the order? So it's Almighty Lord of the universe. The spirit being is there, out there, giving that order. And then that spirit being is completely, you will see it, if you are spiritual enough, you'll be able to see that it's different from God. It's different from the religious practices that you have in this planetary.
So what's your definition when you say there's a difference between God and the Almighty, the controller of the universe? What is the difference? Because we thought that it's the God that created the heavens and the earth and all the rain, and you were describing the vacuum, the sheer darkness that God saw that covered the earth when He said, "Let there be light." And when you were describing it, I'm taking you spiritually. So differentiate for us when you said the God and the Almighty controller of the universe. What is the difference?
Big difference. Just say let there be light. I used to talk like you said, or I used to talk like you, but I laugh now when people say all those things. You see, the controller of the universe is different from God. You see, let me first go to the background. You see, that's a living being is about a soul and a body. The soul is your first route to life. Nobody has seen the soul. It's like a spirit. Nobody has seen it, and nobody has seen whoever give us the soul. Nobody has seen it. So it's the driving energy, and that soul builds the body. If the soul leaves your body when you're a baby, the body will stop growing. If it leaves your body when you're a young person, the body will stop growing. At any time it leaves your body stops growing. So the soul builds the body. Okay? And then if you look at the properties of your body and that of planet 3, they are the same property. So I put up the question to them at the Blue Origin. Then where is the soul when it leaves the body? So now, where are we going? Nobody has seen the soul. Nobody has seen the Almighty Lord. Nobody has seen whoever controls the universe. Nobody has seen it. Well, all these religious books, they always tell you God created human being in His own image. That means some people have seen it. So that God in the Bible, as described in the Bible, is different from the controller of the universe. So in the same way, that God is anything. If you worship anything that is described, it's not the maker and owner of your soul. It's not the controller of the universe. But nobody has seen the controller of the universe. Nobody has seen it, and nobody will see it. Okay? So if anything you worship is described, then it's not the controller of the universe. In the same Bible, it's clearly, we all know God from the Bible, right? God said it's Yahweh. You see, in the past, there are so many religious theories. All the way, I went to do a research in Nepal. Look at the origin. There are so many religious theories. They all worship idols. Okay, now, they also recognize the power of the Almighty, some kind of thing. So they have repackaged all their idols. They repackage the idols as the controller of the universe when it is not. You see, the same theory, you have the Lord Krishna from the Hindu. You also have the same rule that Lord Krishna and the the Trinity principle of Shiva and all that. Then they just drive down to Indo-Iranian, Indo-Europeans, then Mesopotamian, then all to Canaan, it's a long history for this interview. But the Almighty Lord of the universe that controls the universe, give the rules and all that, is different from all the religious books, what the religious books are telling you. So my advice for people now, they should start worshiping the maker and owner of their soul, the real Almighty universe, or Almighty Lord of the universe. You have to worship that, because everybody, when you get to the space, what you feel again is that you feel like you are worshiping. You get floating, then you start to beat. Everything there worship. You feel like you are worshiping, then you start to beat. What is just floating like a bird. It's like you're in a mode that is worshiping something. So that's different. It's completely different from what the religious books have presented. And what the religious books have presented, they all present different theories. Like one of the books we read, that's the God described in some books, said you should go and kill someone, kill this one, this one should be killed, this one is special. No, that's not the controller of the universe. The controller of the universe cannot discriminate and ask that I should go and kill something that he has created. No. It's different.
Yeah. So, Mr. Salis, could you move slightly away from your device? I want so that we'll see your.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So we want to be able to capture from your cap to your chest. Yeah. Now, are you a Christian or a Muslim?
I used to be both, but I'm not anymore. I used to be, yes, I went to Catholic school. Then I was trained as a Muslim. When I get home, I'm a Lagosian. We don't care about whether you're a Muslim in Lagos or Christian. We combine everything. But all those things, they are just foreign spirits that were designed to conquer our people. Unfortunately, it's one of our major problem, African problem. Because when I went to Kenya, the same thing. They are all foreign spirits. Let me give you an example. Recently, we celebrated Ram Festival, the Ilaya Festival. We were doing a research, and that research, I went all the way to Nepal. They told me about how sacrifice, in those days, we're looking at 11,000 years ago, so they will sacrifice their first child. They're supposed to sacrifice the first child so that the other children will live. And that was borrowed by other culture. That is an Hindu thing. It was borrowed by other culture, including the Abrahamic religion. Abraham, was to worship what they call Moloch within the Israeli. They call him Moloch. Moloch is Molock. So Moloch was a god in the Canaanite or Canaan area where you worship that god. When you worship that god, you sacrifice your first child to that God. And the purpose of doing that sacrifice is to enable other children that will come to live. It's a common thing. That was what Abraham was trying to do. He was trying to offer the first child to Moloch, and he claimed that the ram appeared to him. Now, all of us who are Muslim, we were worshiping, doing a ram festival in honor of Moloch, technically in honor of Moloch. I mean, the whole thing looks, because right now with the internet age, all those things that are hidden, they are coming to the table, to the desk of everybody. The internet has enabled everybody to see the truth.
So
and then with the DNA.
What religion do you practice now? Which God do you serve?
Very good. It's not about any religion. You see, when people worship, let me tell you one thing. When people worship, when they worship, what they are doing is to submit their soul to whatever they worship. Do you agree to that? Because when people worship, what they are doing is to submit their soul. Now, the issue is who gave you the soul? Whoever gave you the soul is the right person to worship, because the soul, the person who gave you the soul, is a spirit being. Nobody has said it.
Who gave you your soul, Mr. Salis?
You say what?
Who gave you your soul?
That is the mystery of life. It's a spirit being. That's still the mystery of life. It's a spirit being. When you are conceived, your mom conceived you, it came as a spirit into your body. It's pure. It's a very pure thing. It's delivered to you directly, not through anybody, but delivered to your mom directly. It's a spirit being. Believe me. And that's the mystery of life. Because if you go to space, you'll be able to see it. There's still something mysterious. If our planet, do you know our planet here, planet 3, is suspended? It's suspended and it's revolving around the sun in about 100 and something thousand kilometers an hour. And we are stable. So I begin to find out why we really living. It makes no sense for you not to worship the maker and owner of all souls, who is the controller of the universe.
So after in all your discoveries, who do you then worship?
The maker and owner of all souls.
What name
have you given to it?
What name?
It has no name. You see, it does not use the phrase because a lot of idol worshippers in the past, they have given the names of their idol to represent the maker and owner of also, like Lord Krishna is called the same thing. Zeus is called God of the sky. If you know Zeus very well, the history of the Zeus.
Greek, yeah.
Then you have the Yahweh, who is translated as God. Anybody that worships God, when you actually say God, what you are referring to is Yahweh. Yahweh was the national God of the Israelis. I'm telling you right now, Yahweh is what you are actually referring to. And Yahweh was the national God of the Israelis. So if you have to understand, all these old idols that are translated or repackaged to be your savior, to be the maker and owner of your soul, that's the problem.
So you're
and
saying
that's what
that
is causing crisis.
So you're saying that Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, all of those they're not the right way to reach the owner and the maker of our soul.
Very good. What I'm saying is their procedure is different. They have idols. Their background, all of them have idols, background idols. And what they have done is to repackage the idol to mean the maker and owner of also, when it is not. The maker and owner of also is right there. Is the Almighty Lord of the universe, the controller of the universe. Is different. It's never seen. Nobody has seen it, and nobody will see it. But all of them are claiming that one prophet saw this person. He saw this, he got this from this person. These are stories. They look childish. You understand me? When you understand the concept of spiritualism very well, you know how our planet is suspended on its own. Then you now look at it from the view of what is really going on. It's very mysterious.
But this voyage that you went for, the voyage that you went on, is a spiritual voyage of some sort for you. What was your intention and what was your purpose on this journey, this spiritual journey?
It's actually a spiritual research, and I've gotten my answers, but I'm not going to discuss it here. Now, number one, this planet, our planet that we live, it keeps going around. Are you there?
Yeah.
Going around and stay at the same place where it's supposed to stay. Who is the controller of that universe? Is it the same thing with what we are parading in our planet? No, it's not. Number two, the soul is the driving force that drives every living being. It's the one that drives you. You are talking to me now because there's a soul in your body. Do you agree to that? I'm speaking to you because there's a soul in my body. Mm-hmm. So when that soul leaves the body, where does it go? I have an hypothesis, but I'm not going to discuss it here.
Mm-hmm. But what is your summation for the millions and thousands of people that are going to be watching you? What is your summation about the spirituality of our universe, of our body, of our soul, and the life thereafter?
Very good. My submission, simple summary, is that people should try to separate the controller of the universe, who is the maker and owner of all souls, and whatever they worship. You can say worship whatever you want to worship, because there are what you call nature to life. In this our planetary, there are certain physical elements. If it, physical elements in the sense that you can take one or two plants together and use it to make some solution for people, that's different. It's different from the mystery of life that has to deal with the soul. Because when people worship, what they are doing is they are submitting their soul to whatever they worship. So, and the right person to submit your soul to is the maker and owner of your soul. So what I'm going to advise people is to separate it. Everybody, you have that obligation to worship the maker and owner of your soul, the controller of the universe. And you have to do it within sunrise and sunset. The Almighty Lord has given you a lot of natural examples. Within sunrise and sunset, you're supposed to worship the maker and honor of your soul directly.
How do we do that?
Because it gave you see, I saw the example in space. Once you get to space, everybody start to orbit. You feel like you are worshiping. What do they do? We are all circumnavigating. Circumnavigating, you're all orbiting. So that's what you should do. You go and circumnavigate wherever you live, which is the planet 3. You circumnavigate and ask the maker and owner of your soul to bless your soul every day between sunrise and sunset. A lot of example has been given. And don't go through anybody. And you have to pay for your parents, because every human being has 3 roots. You all have 3 roots. Your first root is the maker and owner of your soul. That's the right person to worship. Your second root are your parents. Don't ever, even your parents, don't ever ignore your parents. When was the last time you prayed for your parents? And your third roots are your familiar ancestors. Your familiar ancestors. Your familiar ancestors are very key to your life. But today, foreign spirits has been imposed on our people. So rather than honor and pray for their familiar ancestors, pray for them. We're not saying you should worship them, not to worship them. Pray for them, all right, because they have your backing in the spiritual realm. Your familiar, your grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, they all suffer to your being. They have your backing in the spiritual realm. When you begin to do it, you have that protection. But today, those who are idol worshippers, they have packaged their foreign idols, linked to their foreign interests, and then use it, impose it on our people, and our people have gone haywire out of it. And they are not getting, because there's a connection between spirituality and development, and that's our problem. Believe me.
How much does this journey cost you?
We signed a confidential agreement. All right. You see, when you are going through Blue Origin, you have to sign confidential agreement. A very strict confidential agreement, because it's an expensive venture. If you go there, you see about 200 employees, a lot of massive engineering. You need a lot of money. I don't want to tell you, but there's
Mr. Salis.
People go to International Space Station, they claim they spend 80 million, but it's not 80 million. But you need nothing less than 2 million, to get this job done.
Wow.
This is an expensive venture, because you have to take insurance, you have to take this, you have to make all these provisions, you have to do so many things.
So going into space and coming back, did it change anything about you? Did it change you?
Of course.
Did it transform your soul,
I told you
in any way?
Yeah, I told you I went on a spiritual journey, and as well as encouraging, African participation. And I've got an answer to some of those things, that I'm looking for, and at that time, getting to above the karma line, something start to push you, like a soul is leaving your body. And immediately you're on harness, you remove the belts that strap you down to the seat. You start floating like a bird. Then the more you go, you now see your planet is just suspended. It's suspended. And when you look at the whole thing, it's all dark, huge space. Then you look at the planet, so then you begin to question yourself. This is where we live. I think another thing I want to suggest is that all leaders, world leaders who are fighting, causing trouble, they should all be sent to space and live there for one day. Believe me, they'll be humble. It's a very humbling place.
But yes. I saw some pictures and some videos. I saw you on the North Pole. Did you disembark from the capsule? Or what?
No.
It was a 10-minute trip.
No. I don't know. The North Pole, I already went to North Pole through the Russian nuclear icebreaker. I was going to fly to North Pole through Siberia to a town called Katanga in Russia, from Katanga to Hasbaneo. But when we're about to go, North Pole is on the sea. It's a frozen Arctic Sea, frozen. So the runway collapsed, so we couldn't go. Then I have to now book another cruise. A cruise, icebreaker. There is nuclear icebreaker. It's a ship. So it's breaking. I took it from Murmansk. Murmansk is the capital of the Arctic region in Russia. So it took about 10 days, The nuclear icebreaker was breaking the ice, till we get to North Pole, and it was very interesting, extremely interesting. When we got there, they put the North Pole, rally around and do, the rituals. Before we get there too, they say the Lord of the Sea and all those things. And it was very interesting in the nuclear icebreaker.
You've broken barriers before. But you've been
the first black African. I went to South Pole too. Yeah. South Pole is more tedious. It's more tedious. You can get to South Pole from Chile, from Argentina, from South Africa. So I went through Chile, and we flew into Union Glacier, which is the Antarctica is Union Glacier. In that Union Glacier, there's a place called the Elephant Head. The Elephant Head. The condition, we were told that the condition in the Elephant Head is the same condition with Mars. You just see some funny thing. You see rocks are being packed like a quarry, and then, who packed this rock? Say they don't know. You get it? And it was very interesting. From the Union Glacier, that you fly to the South Pole. But South Pole is very tedious and very cold. And the condition in South Pole is like the same thing with the moon. Like you're in the moon.
But you're the very first black African to reach both the Arctic and the Antarctic within a season. These expeditions did prepare you to your travel to space. In what way did you?
Space is part of a place to go. The space journey is also a very important journey that I put in my itinerary. And I saved for it.
So what's next for you now after space?
I really love to go to space. It's part of the journey. And then I've been to Greenland too. Greenland is one of the ice sheets, There are two ice sheets in the world. You're looking at Antarctica and Greenland, and then, have you heard of helium before? Helium?
Yeah.
It's a kind of circle that appears in the sun. I remember that nice experience. We were in a place called Buchanan Hills in Antarctica. Then the helium appeared, and everybody was, kind of elated, because if you're in Antarctica at the time, around December, if you are there, you see the sun just going around. There's no sunset. Even in North Pole, around summer, there's no sunset. You just go around, you just see it going around. So the world is interesting.
What is next for you? What is next for you now?
After your space exploration?
We still have a lot of tours, to do. I've been to over 100 countries, but see some smaller countries you want to see. Every country, believe me, every country you go has something to offer. I'm not lying to you, because pilgrimage, this is another thing. Pilgrimage is not limited to a particular region, because the sun and the moon appears in every corner of this planet, and every water is everywhere. You see different waters, different sources of waterfalls and water sources. Like if you go to Tajikistan, you see it's a country with a lot of water. Water were being wasted intentionally, and that meanwhile some countries looking for water. So, it's the more you go around, I see it as a pilgrimage anyway. The more you go around to see the beauties of what the Almighty Lord has created, the better for you.
Are you planning to go back to space?
I told them I'm coming back. It's a lot of money, so I have to find a way of, selling one of my property. I also can't go, but I discussed with them too how to help, Nigeria, Africans, because Nigerians might be interested. And I try to make contact from leadership so that we can get more Nigerians there. Because Nigerians can have a lot of, if shown the way, they can do a lot. So what the leadership of Africa needs to do now is 2 things. Please, this is very important. You don't sit down and you expect people to give you technology. You have to buy it or you steal it. I'm telling my president, my big brother, Montinubu, or the president of Africa, you don't sit down. From my experience, I've seen that you expect people to give you development. You have to do what? You have to buy it or you steal it. They should start doing that. Look, there are tons of people, lots of, scientists out there. They can't even pay their mortgage. You give them 10,000, they give you whatever the technology you need. When Africans are not doing that, they expect every time somebody to come and give them something. Look, I'm repeating. This is a good forum to say this. I'm repeating. You don't sit down as an African man. Anybody wants someone to give you something that will give you advantage over. Look, forget about you and they give it, but you have to set up a department with discipline Africans. We're not talking about so much in discipline, maybe paramilitary kind of something. You have to seek to buy technology or steal it. In addition, we will have the worst embassy in the world. The worst embassy. Like, can I say this is very important?
Stealing is criminality.
Sir?
Encouraging people to steal. That's criminal.
No, not the people. The government. When you say government, government steals. Government, they steal technology. They, they buy, they steal. I'm not talking about people. You have to. You go sit down, you're just going to wait for someone to give you advantage. People buy, they steal. And they are stealing from Africa. Africa, all those Boko Haram, something. You think it's easy? They are stealing. They come to steal materials from you that they will use for sanity. So you have to steal knowledge too. I'm not talking about, So now, secondly, Nigeria embassies. That's another problem. We have the worst embassies in the world. Many people, stop their embassy with intelligent people, people who can make things happen for them, all right? Like scientists, like people who are going to go there and get something, do research. Go to the Nigerian embassy, they'll be sleeping, they'll be sleeping in the, many of the places you see them sleeping. They just think everything is about doing business and contract. But I'm telling you right now, many embassies, even as well developed as United States is, they do a lot of research. They do a lot of research. So if you don't do your research, you don't go out there to go and grab. Nobody's going to give it to you. Those are the 2 things militating against us, Your foreign embassies that will identify opportunities, then how do you get the opportunities? There are so many things. You give some people ordinary $50,000, they give you all the technology.
Let me ask you, you once ran the race to become Lagos State Governor, but you were not successful. Would you still want to be, or you've jettisoned that agenda?
That's a tough one. I don't know, because I did it 3 times. It's a lot of money, and the results are written. They're always written against, there is no free and fair contest in Nigeria. That's just one of my disadvantages, and I don't think I want to go through that anymore. If I want to go through it, well, I would think maybe I could try one more time, maybe, but because if they are going to write the result against you, that's one thing I don't like about Paul. And they need to change Nigerian system of democracy too. We need to start practicing what I call equity-based democracy. A democracy that will not allow domination, that will not allow for one-party states, that will make for competition, that will not allow for personality imposition. You know, a lot of imposition is happening in Nigeria. People just bring whoever they like and they impose it on the people, and then they dominate the minorities. You know, and I wrote a book on that. I wrote it since 1990. Then I did the new copy of it. You know, e-copy. I remember I discussed with Baba Inauro when we were doing the struggle, democratic struggle in Kudrat Abiola Corner. That was Nigeria House in New York in 1996, 97, 98. You know, Nigeria House is named Kudrat Abiola Corner. You know, there was one gentleman, his name is Otumba Jumoke Wunkede. You know, he led the struggle, United Committee to Save Nigeria. We were the aging room, so well successfully. And a lot of people walk. I remember Professor Wole Soyinka came to testify. Baba Nauro testified. I remember Mayor Dinkins testify. I remember Walter Carrington testify. Then the daughter of Kudrat Abiola came, she testified. And then General Alani Akinade testified before they approved the naming of the Kudrat Abiola Corner by Nigeria House. All right? And Jumoke Agunkede ought to be recognized in the award. He struggled. Some of us worked with him. He really struggled to make sure that was possible. I remember very well.
Yeah,
so,
what's your relationship with President Bola Tinubu?
My what?
Your relationship with Bola Tinubu?
You know, Bola Tinubu, I see as a family. It's like, you know, I met him in Qatar, though, the Qatar, and I think he gave a signal that Dele Alake should come and speak to us, and he did. And we didn't hear anything. After that, we just didn't hear anything. And I was surprised when he was coming from the the meeting room. He called one of my friends, Alex Kaba. Alex, how are you? He called him by his name. Say, wow. Alex, that Kaba too, we were in the democratic struggle in the 90s. I said, Alex, I didn't know your name. He greeted him and he greeted me and he went. But he now gave a signal. Before he gets to the summit, he just saw Alake running and coming to us. That must be a signal. But somehow, he's now commander-in-chief. Commander-in-chief is not easy.
Are you possibly thinking of joining the APC?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. You see, my last party was AD. After I used AD to contest the election, AD was proscribed. Do you know that, right? The AD was proscribed, right? 2019, after the election. So because AD, we were hungry in AD that the governorship results were written and the emergency. So we went to court. We went all the way to Supreme Court. After we went to Supreme Court, we just found out the prescription order against AD. So honestly, believe me, I've not made up my mind. I think I've made up my mind if I'm joining politics, but I don't know. I'm more of a religious leader now. I'm not a focus on my people. So that they can
what do you call your religion?
Yeah, my people, Nigerians.
What do you call your religion?
What do you call your religion? You say you're a religious leader.
What is that religion?
When I say religious leader, a religion that focus on the Almighty Lord, the real maker of our soul. Okay, we've been preaching to people, follow the spirit that gave you the soul. That's the right thing. Because when you follow that, that's a pure one. It's different from demons. You see, all the religion they all practice in Africa, they all carry demons with them. You know, demons. So demons in the sense that they all promote hate. Like a Christian will only tell you to hate the Muslim. A Muslim will tell you to hate the Christian. That's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. And what is happening, the bitterness coming, you know. But this one, who you going to hate? Go and worship the maker and owner of your soul. When you do that, you now have freedom of mind. You remove demons out of your body. You see, those are the problems. And then
the premise, I find a little fault on your premise about
Christianity and Islam hating each other, and that's been commanded in the Bible, in the Christian religion. I've not seen any place where Christians are advised to hate the Muslims, though.
In their theory, okay, very good. Let's look at it. This one said, a Muslim belief, for example, let me give you the fundamentals that you may. A Muslim belief, Abraham, both of them come from Abraham. A Muslim belief, the child that was offered by Abraham was Ishmael. The Christian belief, the child that was offered for sacrifice was Isaac. And both of them claim to come from one God, right? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? One said Isaac, one said Ishmael. Then one of the book is lying. Look, we have to start telling ourselves the truth. Those religions, they belong to foreign spirits. They belong to foreign spirits. And I'm not saying people
you're mistaken. Isaac was born of Sarah, but Ishmael was born from the woman Sarah gave to the husband.
And we know that.
When she couldn't have a child.
Ishmael and Isaac are two different people.
So, but the Abraham was said in the book that he was going to offer a child for sacrifice, and a ram appeared.
It was a test
on his face.
Test. Okay, now which of the child was the test?
Isaac.
Okay, go and tell them in Muslim in Nigeria they will fight you. They will say it's Ishmael. You don't know that. See, that's a problem. You see, the Muslim believe is Ishmael. You believe it's Isaac. So you never know it's Ishmael. The Muslim believe in it.
All right. So let me ask you quickly. In your book, Epitocracy, which promotes diversity-based democracy, and you spoke against Igbo marginalization in Lagos State. You think Igbos are marginalized in Lagos?
No, I never spoke against Igbo. I said Igbo marginalization in Nigeria as a whole, because, and they're not only the Igbos, also the minorities. Because when an Igbo man or minority, the South or the North Central people, even some minority in the Northeast, when they want to contest, people don't see them as serious. They don't see them as substantial. But so a democracy should not be majority system, because a majority system is a winner take all. Okay, because if you are going to compare, if you're going to compare 6 and 4, 6 is a majority, and you want 6 and 4 to contest, that's like 4 is like 0 when you are comparing 6 to 4. But to do that comparison properly, you need to break like 6. You can break the 6 into 3 and break the 4 into 2 and use the lowest common factor to do the comparison. That's mathematics.
So you see an Igbo man becoming a president anytime soon in Nigeria?
It's possible. I'm not really that, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough task, depending on who the opposition is, because of this discrimination and and marginalization that is going on. But it's possible. It's very, very possible.
What's your assessment of the President Bola Tinubu's government so far in their performance?
I mean, it's on both sides. He's doing some kind of, you see, you cannot have 100%. Nobody can have 100%. I can say that in some area he tried, but I want him to focus on the less privileged. The problem of the less privileged. The poor people are suffering. There is no doubt. And whoever is being taking care of poor people, he should focus more on it and practice grassroots governance. If you practice grassroots, all the governors too, they should practice grassroots governance. When you practice grassroots governance, there will be less problem on the people.
The country is on the right trajectory. In the hands with the Tinubu at the end of affairs.
Yeah, I can say to some extent it is, and to some extent there are problems, deviations problem. Like I just told you, all right, now the country needs to start focusing on how to acquire technology, and you acquire all those important technology. Either you buy it, you seek for it, or you steal it. You steal it. I'm talking about government stealing. There's no prosecution in government stealing. You steal it.
When you hear,
when you government can do an assessment on their own. Please let me say this: all the governors and the government, the federal government, should do an assessment on their own. Let me give you a definition of a successful governance. A successful governance is that government that is able to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor in basic needs of the people. I repeat, a successful government is that is able to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor in basic needs of the people. That is why the government will tax the rich people to provide amenities for the poor people. So when you take the basic needs of the people, housing, food, security, you take about, housing, food, security, and health. If you take those one, you do the assessment yourself. Are you able to bridge the gap? Because a rich man don't need the government for health, for food. They can afford to buy themselves food. They can afford to go to London or buy medication. I know people who have died just because of what? Inability to buy augmentin. Augmentin in Nigeria now, I understand it's about 3,000-5,000 naira. And how many people can afford it? How many? So
let me ask you quickly.
Let me ask you quickly. You hear Mr. Peter Obi say that just going to run for one term. If he wins, he will become the president. And the debate about rotation and zoning. What is in your book? You talk about balancing and carrying everyone along. What do you think about the balance of power, rotational presidency, and how issues of equity and equitable distribution.
Rotational presidency is undemocratic. Let me just give you, maybe I may be able to explain it in 3 minutes, in 1 minute for you. You see, we did a system. Okay, let me give you an example. Supposing we have 2 parties, for example, let every state bring two candidates that are competent to rule Nigeria. 2 from Lagos, 2 from this, 2 from this. Now, let all Nigerians do an assessment of the 2 people. Now, let's say, for example, we look at the assessment. The people of Lagos State may decide to do the assessment of Lagos, the 2 candidates. They may decide to go for A in Lagos State. That means A wins Lagos State point. They go do the assessment of Ogun State. They may decide to support B in Ogun State. That means B candidate in Ogun State wins Lagos point. They may do the assessment of Sokoto. In Sokoto, they may decide to go for A. That means A candidate in Sokoto wins Lagos point. So all those candidates, they have 36 points to win, because there are 36 states in Nigeria. So let's say A candidate from Sokoto, for example, wins 30 points, 30 states. You give it 30 states. Then you look at how many states that are won by other candidates in their various something. So the candidate that won the highest number of states will be the president. In that case, every state is participating, every minority is relevant, every candidate is relevant. There will be peace. You can't rig election, because if I'm going to rig election in Lagos State, for example, that means the Sokoto people will not allow me to rig, because if they allow me to rig their state, they are reducing their opportunity. They are reducing their own opportunity to produce the president. You can't rig election. You have to go and seek cooperation. You cannot cause violence. If you are a tribalist that always cause trouble, the kind of system we have tribalists. They always campaign on tribal ground to cause trouble. So if you are a tribalist, you cannot win. You have to love Nigeria. You have to go out there and bring everybody together. That's what we call an equity system, a federal equity republic of Nigeria. There are other things built inside it, But just for these press purposes, that's the basic way to explain it.
Yeah, I like to wrap up in this way. You're hearing the coalition talks, and a lot of the political heavyweights are coming together. Do you think that the APC might be in trouble in 2027?
Its possibility is there, but it's also about money. You see, a lot of people are doing this, in politics in Nigeria, with the one we practice now, so much sacrifice. People will tell you, hey, always, hey, you go, because it's about sacrifice. So the opposition that are coming up, they have money, possibly, if they are able to do it, but who are the personalities? So this is all about what? Money, power, and of course, maybe I can, lock up some people before the election, who's controlling the high neck and all that. So that is why this system is so bad. The presidential system we are running in Nigeria now is so bad. It's not a good system. We need to have a new system, like equity system, where we can, have a federal equity republic of Nigeria, where every Nigerian will love each other, will come together, just like I explained. But it's much more to it. Other workings that need to support it.
Mr. Owolabi Salis, an astronaut who is the first Nigerian who got to
stop calling me Mr. Sheung. Astronaut.
Astronaut.
Owolabi Salis, a lawyer. Thank you so much. Appreciate. A former governorship candidate of the AD in Lagos. It's a pleasure talking to you. And congratulations once again.
No problem. Thank you for for entertaining me. Thank you very much, Nigerians. Please, I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's our conversation with Owolabi Salis, the first Nigerian in space. And I hope that you have a nice time listening to that conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share some of our conversation on the podcast. Did I see you next time? Bye-bye.